I'm hosting today all by myself. Today. Hi, welcome to Truth or Talk. I'm April Boden. Virstyne Henry is not with me today. She had important things to do in Taiwan, where she's living overseas and doing all kinds of exciting things and that she needed to do. So good for her. But I miss her. I'm all alone today. But I do have a very exciting guest. I'm actually stunned that I was able to get this person because this is a huge celebrity. I mean, a household name, truly, a national treasure. And he's an Academy Award-winning actor. He's been in Glory, The Shawshank Redemption. He's narrated numerous documentaries about penguins and other things, and just really a tremendous actor. But there's these nasty rumors going around, and he's coming on today because he wants to clear the air about these rumors that he's sleeping with his step-granddaughter. I know that sounds weird, right? So we want to give him an opportunity to talk about it and let everybody know whether or not this is true. I mean, I don't know. We'll find out today. I'm very excited to have him on. So please welcome to the show my guest, Morgasm Freeman. Hi, Morgan. How are you doing?
Well, hello, April. It's wonderful
Hello.
to be on your show.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad to have you. I have been hearing these rumors that...
I heard you're a redhead.
Yes, that's true. How did you hear
when
that?
When I was in the military, I had a thing for redheads.
Well, Morgan, you're making me blush. I didn't know that. That's something I think
I'm sorry, I got off on the wrong foot. Let me start over.
Okay. So
I was going to make a joke about carpets and drapes, but I've decided against it.
You've thought better of it, have you?
Blog Talk Radio has standards. It has standards.
They do. Right. I mean, you've done some incredible films, worked with all the major celebrities, Jim Carrey and...
Yes, every one of them.
What did you say?
All of them are on cocaine. It's the devil's powder.
Really? Jim Carrey is on cocaine?
Every one of them in Hollywood.
Tim Robbins.
Cokehead.
Clint Eastwood.
Cokehead.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's and what about yourself? I mean,
cokehead.
You yourself are a cokehead.
I'm playing with you. These are good people, just trying to live and get by. If you ain't busy living, you're busy dying.
Get busy dying, right?
Yep.
Yeah, good words to live by. So, Morgan, there's some rumors that you've been seen on TMZ walking around holding hands with your step-granddaughter. And so the rumor is that you left your wife to be with her romantically. Is this accurate?
This is a rumor started by the Scientologists who tried to destroy me. Now, I don't play up the fact that I am an African American. I'm proud.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to get me to join their satanic, coke-worshipping cult.
Right. The Scientologists did.
And they blackmailed me with pictures of myself walking around with a young woman who happens to be related to somebody I used to have intercourse with.
Right. She's related in what way? She's her granddaughter, right, of your first wife?
I don't really care, nor do I know. It is a lie. It is inflammatory, defamatory, and explanatory.
Yeah. No, I find it hard to believe. You are a national treasure. Everybody admires you.
Hold on a second.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Hong Ming, my Coke bucket is empty. Fill it up. I'm sending you back home. Go ahead, April.
Okay. When you say your Coke bucket, never
was
mind.
that on the air? I was talking about a fine beverage brought by the people who bring sugar to all the children.
Right. So the pictures, though. I mean,
under the table. I don't want to have to beat you later. Hello?
Yes.
Yes, April, go ahead. This is a rumor, a dirty, filthy rumor. No, I'm not a pervert. I'm an actor. I'm a reader. In fact,
Yeah.
I'm known as the world's greatest narrator.
That's true. That's true. I mean, if you narrated, most people would like you to narrate their own funeral. That's what I've heard, because it's your voice. It's sort of relaxing and soothing. And is that how you engaged your granddaughter?
This is a dirty rumor.
Oh, sorry. No.
Not a
You're
fact.
Right.
I have not engaged in any kind of thing considered overly sexual. I'm an affectionate person, but not a pervert. By the way, it is well known in Hollywood that John Travolta is openly gay on movie sets. Just saying. Just saying.
Really? Yeah, I always kind of wondered, actually, but I never had it confirmed by such a. So how do you know this? How have you?
I read it on TMZ.
Oh, right. Well, that's where TMZ has said that you were sleeping with your granddaughter. They were the ones who said that.
There's been no sleeping. There's been no mud wrestling. I rebuke these and rebuff them. Remarks. An emperor penguin will mate for life. Morgan Freeman does not have sex with children of his wife.
There you have it. Okay, so good. I'm glad we can finally put that I'm glad we can finally put that away. I was going to say to bed, but
I never took it out.
Sounds like a plan. Yeah.
Believe me, everyone would have known.
Okay.
I was on the electric company when I was young.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, they wanted to make a Muppet out of my private parts.
Oh, did they? What would the Muppet be called?
Henry the Angry Worm.
Henry the Angry Worm.
Yes.
Yeah.
All 10 inches of anger.
10, wow.
Yes, I had to make a choice when I was coming up. Do I join the freak show or do I pursue narrating? And
you chose to...
I am the world's greatest narrator.
You are indeed. I think that's apparent. And you were an Academy Award winner. You were in the film Glory with Matthew Broderick. And
Matthew Broderick is another one, openly gay on movie sets.
Is that right?
According to TMZ.
According to TMZ. I never heard that about Matthew Broderick. I've heard that about John Travolta. I've never heard that about Matthew Broderick, though. That's news to me.
Well, he sings and dances up a storm, let me tell you.
Is that right?
A storm.
A storm. What's coming up next for Morgan Freeman? What are you going to be doing?
Well, you'd have to check. This is only a Morgan Freeman imitation. Morgan is busy today, getting paid millions of dollars to say things slowly as though they have great meaning.
Oh, lucky him. So who is this then? This isn't Morgan Freeman. I thought I was getting Morgan Freeman.
No, this is a Morgan Freeman imitation. I live in a house. It's a small one, a refrigerator box.
Mhm. Okay.
People call me when they want Morgan Freeman, but can't afford him.
Oh, I see.
But can't afford him.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a typo because I thought it was something like Morgasm Freeman, something like that, and I was sort of going. I thought maybe that was just a typo.
No, that's my other line of work. They call me the Great Orgasmo. Has nothing to do with this.
Oh, just different job entirely.
I'm in a small movie coming up called The Dark Knight Also Rises. No, it is not. Made by Christopher Nolan. It is a pornographic film.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know that at all. I really thought I was talking to Morgan Freeman, but it was a little bit. I had this friend of a cousin of a second relation that knew somebody, and they said that they knew Morgan Freeman. So I can't say I'm terribly surprised that you didn't actually turn out to be the Morgan Freeman.
Well, it's blog
but
talk radio. You get what you pay for.
Exactly. That's correct. You get what you pay for. So, all right. Well,
I've got to go. Pong Ming, my Coke bucket runneth empty. I have to depart from your company. I'm grateful and gracious.
Thank you so much for being on my show. I appreciate it.
Felicitaciones.
Right. All right. Well, goodbye to you. Good luck to you with the granddaughter and everything else. Wow. That was interesting. guys find that interesting? I didn't know that. I really thought I was talking to Morgan Freeman, and all of a sudden he was a different guy. But it. And then I remembered that I saw the paperwork come in, and it said orgasmic, something like that. And so I guess it all makes sense now. So that it wasn't actually the Morgan Freeman. But I wait a second. I have someone just sent me a message. Hold on a second. I've got another person on the line here. Oh, and okay, you guys, you're in for a treat because now I have another guest. The great actor Christopher Walken is appearing on my show today. I had no idea. This is a complete surprise. I sent him a message and I was trying to get him on. So Christopher Walken has been in just everything. What was he in? Joe Dirt. I mean, just great films like that, and one of the best guests that they have on SNL. So Christopher Walken is going to be on my show today. So, Christopher, are you there?
Yeah, coming in. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great, yes.
I'm in an airport. I only have a minute.
Okay. So, well, thank you for calling in. So, Christopher, how...
Hong Ming, my Coke bucket's running a little low. Tell Morgasm Freeman to... Hello?
Yes.
I'm having an issue at home. Don't worry about it. It's crazy.
I thought you were at the airport.
I have an airport in my house. Joe Dirt paid unexpectedly well. Didn't perform well here, but made millions in Poland.
Oh, yeah. That's an underrated film, I think. I think you...
Hong Ming, the ice is gonna break! Okay, I had to straighten something out.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a bullet in every one of you and your fucking families. Hello?
Is everything okay? What's going on
Having an ice problem. Hard to get good ice. These days, the water, full of fluoride.
Yeah, that's true. That's
insidious.
That is true. It is insidious.
Monsanto, Dow Chemical.
Do you use a filter to filter out the fluoride?
I pass it through small children.
And what does that do?
It cleans it. The fluoride stays in the children. What am I, talking to a fucking retard here? Hey, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm putting you on. I'm putting you on. Hey, I never do that to small children. They're 8.
They're 8.
April, I really am appreciating the show you're doing with Virstyne.
Yeah.
Where'd she go?
She's in Taiwan. She's overseas, just kind of doing stuff.
She was
busy today.
What?
That's where you get your what, sir?
I got a movie coming up.
Excellent. Let's hear about it.
I'm just saying, I'm putting it out there. Anybody wants to put me in a movie, just put me in. I'll show up.
Oh, okay. Anybody particular you want to work with? Who's your dream person to work with?
I like that question. Oh, you I don't have an answer, but I like it.
Yeah.
It rolls around like kind of a juicy marble or a grape. It's in my head. Who would you like to work with?
Yeah.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Really?
She smells like a hot summer day.
Well, she's a fine actress. I wouldn't blame you for it. You know what I like is when you host Saturday Night Live, I like the bit that you did in the hot tub with with Will Ferrell, and do you remember which one I'm talking about?
I was on a lot of painkillers. I dropped a small child on my knee.
Oh.
Was passing fluoride through him.
Right. And he
can't remember. Will Ferrell, tall.
Yes.
Rangy.
Yes.
Smells vaguely Serbo-Hungarian.
I wouldn't know.
Up close. You got to get close.
Okay. Well, I'll have to try that sometime. But I've never met him, so I don't know
hold
what
on.
it smells like.
Hey, that's my luggage. No, there's nobody inside of it. Get the fuck away from my suitcase. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So I don't know what Will Ferrell smells like, but
Rangy, Serbo-Hungarian,
right,
tawny, like a horse, a little like a horse.
Oh, I see. Well, that's kind of surprising.
Not big in the pants for being tall.
How do you know that?
Everybody knows.
How does everybody know that?
Everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
Oh, okay. Does he show himself on set?
He's a nudist. I'm not putting him down. He's not pathetic, but Matthew McConaughey. Now, there's a horse of a man.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's a sexy beast. I agree.
No, I mean, his father was Secretariat. He was actually, he's a genetic freak.
Oh. Is that right?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's crossbred between a Italian model and a horse. Strange. Strange.
That is strange. I had no idea. So how many people in Hollywood that you know of are actually mutants?
A lot of them robot Terminators. That's documentary, not science fiction. It's pretty well known in Hollywood. I myself, from New York, hate Hollywood. Hope it rolls out to sea, whatever.
You're a New Yorker, so you hate Hollywood. So what about in New York? I mean, the actors that live in New York, are any of those mutants or aliens or crossbreeds?
No, that's crazy.
No.
The aliens live on the other side of the Mississippi. It's well known. You get over Nevada, all aliens.
Yeah. L.A.,
mostly Terminator, hybrid horse people. New York, that's where I come from.
Right. Yeah, you're a New Yorker for sure. And so where are you headed? I know you're at the airport, so you're off to, where are you going?
It's none of your business. Taiwan to visit Virstyne.
Oh, you want to visit Virstyne? Wow, I don't think she's expecting you.
No one's expecting me.
You just show up.
That's what makes my career so fabulous.
I get right, and I guess you're Christopher Walken, so if you came to someone's door, they would just let you in, right?
I would hope. I'm prepared to kick it down. I'm tall. I dance. A lot of people don't know that. Oh, you're the psychopath for movies. No, I'm a dancer. That's what movies are. They're dancing.
I've seen you
dance.
Move.
You move.
Right. I've seen you tap. You tap danced in Joe Dirt. Good movie.
I don't remember that movie.
But it made you a lot of money, though.
Oh, that movie.
Yeah. Right.
Spade. David.
That's right. David Spade.
Right.
As Joe Dirt.
Yeah, funny. Is he Jewish? A lot of the Jews. Funny.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. You don't have.
Thanks for being on.
Oh,
yeah.
It was a pleasure, and yeah. Yeah,
it was a pleasure having you on.
My phone doesn't have a hang up. You're gonna just have to cut it. It's on all the time.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. I'm just gonna have to cut Christopher Walken off here. So thank you, Christopher. Appreciate it. I'm floored today. I have all these big celebrities. This is incredible. So I don't know. I had no idea. I thought I was going to do the show all by myself, and I was just going to come on here and start talking, and yet now I'm getting all these big celebrities, and it's pretty cool. So I'm kind of waiting to see what's going to happen because maybe somebody else.
April, this is Mike. This is a producer. I got a beam in on that call. I don't think that was Christopher Walken.
Who do you think it was?
I think it was a Christopher Walken imitation. I think you got played a little bit there.
You sound vaguely familiar. Who are you?
I'm producer Mike at Blog Talk Radio.
Your producer Mike?
Yeah, Blog Talk Radio. I'm your producer. You called me before the show to set it up. Don't you remember
that? No, I didn't do that.
Well, I'm in on the line. I don't know how I got here.
Oh, you know what? You sound like Peter Venkman from Ghostbusters.
Oh, you got me. I'm Peter Venkman from the Ghostbusters cartoon series.
The cartoon series.
Yeah, the real Ghostbusters, not the Japanese-looking one.
I'm not familiar. I don't remember the cartoon.
Virstyne knows. Virstyne Henry.
Right, she's my co-host.
Yeah.
She's talked about that. She sent me videos of Peter Venkman, but I don't think I really watched that cartoon. So
you missed out. You really missed out. That was like it was a big deal. If you were kind of like watching TV after school somewhere in the like late 80s.
Yeah.
Mid 90s.
Right.
This was like the touchstone. Like the Sorcerer's Stone right there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm sorry I missed it.
Anyway, I'm producing, and I'm just trying to tell you, I don't think that was Chris Walken. Anyway, I'm going to go. Bye.
Okay, bye. Bye, thanks for coming by. Wow, that's really weird. I didn't know, Peter Venkman, but it was Peter Venkman. That's not the guy that did the voice of, because usually when there's a cartoon, somebody is actually a person is doing the voice of, but that was actually Peter Venkman, the voice of. I'm still not wrapping my head around that exactly. I don't exactly know what's going on. So, yeah, that was really. I'm excited because I had these extremely interesting, famous people, and yet then they all turned out to be fakes. So I'm wondering if Peter Venkman was a fake too. What do you guys think? You guys think he was a fake? I don't know. Write me and let me know. You think I'm just too easily taken? Maybe that's what's going on here. So it looks like I have somebody else coming in, and I'm going to have to take a commercial, and this is a commercial for. I'm not sure what this is a commercial for. Somebody's writing to me right now, letting me know. It's a commercial. I have a commercial coming up. So give me a minute, and I will be right back.
Gingerballs. Have you ever thought to yourself, I wish that there was a T-shirt company that could express my views on GMOs, pseudoscience vaccination, 9/11 was an inside job. That's right. 9/11 was an inside job. I feel this way. I'm sure there's plenty of people that feel this way. And what if I had a shirt that I could wear and I'd walk around and other people that felt this way could come up to me and say, hey, I too think 9/11 was an inside job. How about that? Most of the shirts out there just look so stupid, though, don't they? Just nothing exciting about them. I wish they were on 100% cotton made by American Apparel. Maybe such a shirt exists. Maybe there's a T-shirt company out there right now that is doing exciting new things to help me express how I feel about things going on in the world. Oh, I'm going to Google it. Hey, young man, why don't you stop right there? Because such a T-shirt company already exists. It does? That's right. It does, young ma'am. You can just go straight to shop.truthertees.com. That's shop.truthertees.com and find their latest design of the Conspiracy Realist, inspired by investigative journalist Liam Scheff, author of The Official Stories. You're kidding me, is that correct? Why, yes it is. They do have such a shirt, and they are also selling Mr. Scheff's book at a discount price. Oh my goodness, I've been meaning to buy that book. How much is it? Well, it's $17 if you buy it by itself, $10 if you buy a shirt or two, and free if you buy 3 or more shirts. Oh my goodness, what do the shirts look like? Well, they're fantastic. Why don't you take a look? Are you a conspiracy theorist or a conspiracy realist? This is so exciting. I can't wait to go to shop.truthertees.com and find out what they're doing now. Wow. I wonder if anybody else has tried it. Do celebrities know about it? Hey there, New World Order Fighting Kitty. Have you heard of shop.truthertees.com? Yes, of course. I work with them. Yeah. I love their T-shirts. And they got Liam Scheff's book on available for a discounted price now. Wow, even New World Order Fighting Kitty knows about it. Who else might know about it? Morgasm Freeman? Is that you?
Despite what TMZ is saying, I'm wearing Truther tees, and I ain't playing. with April's Gingerballs.
Well, you heard it. New World Order Kitty loves it. Morgasm Freeman loves it. And now I love it. I love shop.truthertease.com, and I'm going to go right now and buy my copy of the official stories by Liam Scheff and a new Liam Scheff-inspired T-shirt, The Conspiracy Realist. That's right, shop.truthertease.com.
Don't return your calls. People will call you Gingerballs. They'll call you Gingerballs. Those people don't know what they see. They just see Gingerballs. Gingerball. Cheer up, Murray. It's time to forget your...
Hi, welcome back. April Boden here with Truth or Talk. And you can find us at www.truthertease.com. Please visit our website. We have a T-shirt and Liam Scheff's book available at our shop, which is at shop.truthertease.com. That's spelled shop.truth, as in truth, as in tease, as in teez.com. And that's where you can go find our shirt, and you can find Liam Scheff's book. Liam Scheff is my guest today. Here he is. Hi. Hey, Liam, what are you doing?
Hey. Cheer up, Murray. Don't let it get you down. Pick yourself up off the ground. It's gonna be all right.
Liam, did you know that I had all these guests lined up today? Well, actually, I just had the one guest lined up, Morgasm Freeman, but then it turned out he was a fake. And then I got these phone calls as I was just talking to him, and then all these other people started calling in. It was like Christopher Walken, and there's Peter Venkman, but then they all turned out to be fakes.
Yeah, that's the problem with life. What about Gingerballs? Let's get Murray Hewitt on. Do you know Murray Hewitt from Flight of the Conchords? Great comedy creation.
I know the Flight of the Conchords, yeah. Gingerballs?
They just see Gingerballs.
That's unfortunate, that poor guy. Then all they see is his Gingerballs. That's all they see. Cheer up, Murray. Yeah, no, that's really funny. I like that. I like that bit. And we were talking about comedy. We talk about that all the time, actually.
We do.
And it seems like it, don't we?
Yeah. Well, we talk about our sex life, so we talk about comedy.
Right. Exactly.
All comedy.
Right.
Comedy and tragedy, two sides of that. Remember, it's that crazy grinning face when you go into theater. It's the crazy smile and the crazy frown. It's the same thing.
Yes.
It's our sex lives.
Exactly.
Yeah, we were talking comedy. We were talking about the longest war that ever made anyone laugh.
Right. We were talking about MASH because MASH was on for 12 years. The war was on for 3, or lasted for 3. So that was a really long show. But we were talking about the show itself was only good for the first 2.5, 3 years, right? And tell me the guy's name again. Who was the first trapper?
No, there was only one trapper, and then they put in BJ.
Oh, right. That's right. They didn't replace him with another trapper, but he went on and played a serious trapper role. Do you remember that?
He did?
There was a show called Trapper MP.
Yeah, but he didn't play that guy. That was another.
But it was based on that character,
I know.
though, right?
That character was Elliot Gould in the Robert Altman movie, which was a disturbing, funny movie, but also disturbing, in which they more or less, I think, humiliate Sally Kellerman on screen. They rip up a shower tent when she's showering, and believe me, she's gorgeous, but it's not. You don't feel good looking at somebody who's like startled and full of angst about being revealed nude. It's not a sexy moment, even though she's gorgeous.
Right.
It's not good.
Yeah.
So he was in that. Elliot Gould was in that. So they had, I guess, a short kind of Jewy guy being trapper, and then for the TV show, they had this guy. He was from the South, and he did theater starting in the 50s, and then it was the 70s. In 72 he got his break. His name was not McLean Stevenson, who was Colonel Henry Blake, the best, the funniest. The first 3 years of that show were so funny, and all anybody remembers is that Alan Alda became a woman somewhere along the way, and everything was women's rights. But in the beginning, there's a joke. There's a show called Futurama, and they do a MASH spoof on the show, and they have a Hawkeye robot
and the robot has a martini in one hand and is operating with the other, and he has a switch on his neck that goes from sardonic to maudlin, and he goes, "War, when will it ever end?" And then they switch and it goes, "War, when will it ever end?" And it's the same.
No, I've never seen that. That sounds fun.
And it's 9 years of war. When will it? Hey, when will it? It's horrible. It's horrible. And Alan Alda became a female at some point in the show, a women's rights bound female, and that's all he could think about. But in the first 3 years, he was deadly funny. And they played war for what it's good for, which is telling the truth about human nature. They don't want to be there. They hate being there. Everybody's sleeping with everybody.
Right.
Everybody's got their camp girlfriend or boyfriend, plural.
Yeah.
It's equal opportunity because the nurses are at it too. The men definitely, what is it called? Objectify the females, but the females definitely objectify the males. You know, you get there's a great scene, and we were talking about Trapper. So Trapper was, who was the actor? Wayne Rogers.
Yeah.
He's like 6'3", and Hawkeye. What's his name? What's his real name? Alan Alda is like 6'3", 6'4". So they were this great pair. You know, they were just comedy pairs. Kind of have to be similar types, you know, or it kind of falls apart. But they were great. Oh, there's a dog barking. You hear that?
I heard something.
Well, I know what I'm eating for dinner. Hello, barbecue.
Meow.
What's that?
Meow.
New World Order kitty?
Meow, don't eat my friend. Meow.
When's the movie coming out?
The movie's coming out the year 2017. If we're still alive.
NWO kitty?
Yeah, the trailer, though, there'll be trailers for the film. You know, she'll be putting out one every couple of months.
It's a Michael Bay, Tarantino, Scorsese, Coppola production, right?
Well, that's correct.
And right, and
it's going to have all the big wigs in it. I mean, the cast. The whole thing is that, you know, because there are so many famous people that are going to be in this film, you have to work around their schedule. So it's just going to take forever to actually get the whole thing organized. But the projection is around the year 2017.
John Travolta's in it. I believe he plays a dress. Bruce Willis is going to play the mayor. Tom Cruise is going to play Tom Cruise as a young man.
Right.
You know, he's 50.
He looks
young.
Pretty good.
He looks really good.
Pretty good. Yeah, he doesn't believe in pharmaceuticals. Yeah, that's right. He doesn't believe in pharmaceuticals.
Right. So secretly making love. Well, you know what? That's a rumor. I'm not going to talk about the rumors, but certainly having a very strange relationship with the public, with Scientology, and with women seems to be working for him.
Yeah. He just seems to, I mean, I don't know, or maybe it's just the way that he lives his life. Maybe because he doesn't use pharmaceuticals and he stays healthy and eats well.
You mean he eats a lot of soup? You know, his favorite soup might be it's probably a Chinese soup. Do you know cream of some young guy? Do you know that one?
That's a rumor too, though, right?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean.
Is it? I mean, I don't know.
I misread it. It was a different kind of soup. It was a shark fin soup, but that's just a rumor. Right. It's a rumor.
That's just a rumor. We don't know if he eats soup.
And not that there would be anything wrong with it if there were. In fact, I swear, if some of these guys who maybe are rumored to would come out, I'd love him even more for it. I'd say, you know what? Now, no pun intended, I can get behind your movies. I can support them more honestly. Not moron, but more. You appear more honest to me. Not more on-est, but more honest. More honest. Never mind.
Right.
I have trouble watching movies with actors who seem to be living a lie. Again, rumor, but I have trouble watching movies like that.
Do you? So you have trouble watching? You think that Tom Cruise is living a lie?
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Kind of get that.
I don't like to watch actors that I feel are not kind of okay with themselves. It just translates into their performance for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that movie Magnolia. Did you ever see Magnolia?
I did.
Yeah, and I thought that his character in that was kind of maybe more close to who he was for real. It seemed very
real.
It did. It did seem very real, but it was it seemed true to how I perceive his insecurities and his, who he might be in real life. And the storyline was even close. Like, he even admitted that part of it, that the part about his father being detached and not wanting anything to do with him and, being raised by his mother and all that was true. But the guy who wrote the script said he didn't know that about Tom Cruise at all, but that actually was all true to his own personal experience.
Yeah, that's a pretty shocking movie. It's just one of those movies you do watch, and it is very long, and it's a very narcissistically American, but there it is, and it's a great performance, and I can't say that about other things he's been in.
Julianne Moore's in the film.
Old Red. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
There's something about an actress who stands nude without any pants on for 5 minutes, and it just never leaves your head. And then she's in Boogie Nights, and it's just, I know that she's fairly exhibitionistic in her performances. I got to be honest, I wish she hadn't been so much, because she's a funny, very strong actress, but it just, there's something about showing too much. It's like making a joke about using children to pass fluoride through. There's too much. You can go too far.
Yeah. Right. Were you just listening to me interview the fake Christopher Walken?
No.
He was talking about
No, did you guys talk?
Yeah, he said that he was passing fluoride through children to filter his water.
Dear Lord, what a Oh, it wasn't the real Christopher Walken, though.
No, it was a fake. It turned out to be a fake, as I found out later when producer Peter Venkman came on and told me. But otherwise, I was totally fooled. I'm a little naive like that.
We all are. Speaking of naive, Wayne Rogers was in MASH, and he was incredibly funny. And he's from Alabama, the actor, but he played a Boston native, and he played Boston as though he were from just one of the boroughs of New York. And I don't know how, but it all worked. And he played opposite Alan Alda, who played Hawkeye, and these are both very funny, smart guys. I can't think of and they weren't fools, even though they all made mistakes. Again, the show didn't moralize about sexual conduct. It was a war. The show was 72, so the ethos was 60s, was like brutally anti-war, anti-Vietnam, but they talked about Korea. So it was the Korean War that was really the Vietnamese War, and they have Hawkeye going, this kid's 16 years old. This kid's 17 years old. How is he even here? You have the locals being blown up, and you have the gung-ho sort of 40s, 50s U.S. military guys running the show who appear to be either absolutely clueless and following orders to everybody's detriment, or really Machiavellian and always willing to cut a deal, to bomb villages and cover it up. And it's an incredible show. After the first few episodes, which are pretty loopy, which follow Altman's style of sort of offhanded shooting and wandering cameras, they got rid of that, thank God, because it's a TV show and it doesn't play. And then Larry Gelbart, who was, I guess, the creator of the TV show, was a writer on Your Show of Shows. So he worked with the guys writing for Sid Ceasar, who would be Mel Brooks, Richard Benjamin, who went on to make My Favorite Year, which is a show, which is a movie about Your Show of Shows. Young Woody Allen, before he was a giant child-marrying perv, and Neil Simon. All these guys, and people I don't even know. Carl Reiner.
Wow.
That's where the Dick Van Dyke Show comes from.
Yeah, I did know that.
They're still playing off of Sid Ceasar. And Sid Ceasar was like the last of the American vaudevillians. He'd go up on stage. You could throw any European, he could do any European gibberish accent. Like, he probably spoke a little of 6 languages, and he could just do perfect Italian gibberish. I mean, it was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like, all the skits hold up or anything, but it was, these guys are playing to a live crowd, and they're probably doing it 18 nights a week or something, and they're exhausted all the time. And, they're not running on cocaine, and they still have food coming in. It's, even if they're drinking too many martinis, I think Sid Ceasar is still alive, or he just passed away, which tells you something about longevity. And also, there's a guy who was packing. That's just well known.
Who, Sid Ceasar?
Milton Berle was packing.
Was he really?
Milton Berle?
Milton Berle?
Oh my God! You don't know that?
How would I know that?
It's well known Hollywood lore.
How's it well known? He he was always known for dressing like dressing in drag.
Yeah, he was known for the no Sid Ceasar. My God, is still alive. He played as the coach in the movie Grease, which is where people would have seen him. He was the coach. He was really, really dryly funny.
Yeah.
And he's probably pretty borderline brilliant, that kind of thing.
Right.
And he's Jewish immigrant, right? Russian Jews, always funny people with terrible violent tempers at home. Trust me, I know my father. So I'm serious.
I believe
I had to shake that out of my system when I was coming up. The funny in the out world and just explosive and ridiculous at home. I had to get over all of that. So but he was really, 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 really funny, and he would do it's called double talk, I guess, on the Wikipedia. Funny guys. Dick Van Dyke, incredibly funny, especially before he was sort of too cutesy and a little maudlin.
Yeah.
But, funny. Carl Reiner, a lot funnier than Rob Reiner. A lot funnier.
Yeah.
Played against Mel Brooks. They used to do a bit called The 1,000-Year-Old Man.
Yeah, well, Meathead or Rob Reiner. I mean, he wasn't really much of an actor. I mean, he didn't do all that much film, and he seemed or TV, and he kind of always just played himself. Rob Reiner did, and then he went on to direct, but he probably ended up making a lot more money than his dad. But Carl Reiner definitely funnier. Old school. I mean, those guys were, like you say, they worked a lot of hours. That's kind of there really isn't anything like that anymore. And I was telling you how I was listening to this thing on PBS, and it was Marlo Thomas was talking about her father, Danny Thomas, and how the comics back in those days, they could make fun of everybody, but they couldn't curse. They used double entendre. They used kind of hidden messages, but they couldn't curse. But they could make fun of everybody, and now it's the reverse. It's too politically correct. You can't make fun of anybody, but you can use any foul language that you like.
Yeah, so you end up with movies like The Hangover, which I can't watch. I don't find any of it funny. I hated everybody in it, and I just kept fast-forwarding, waiting for sort of the part that appealed to my humanity. It was shocking. I mean, the ultimate depravity that you can put people through is now considered comedy, and I don't know where that puts us in terms of empire, except we live in a constant state of schadenfreude. In other words, joy at other people's misfortune.
Oh, right.
But I don't know. But then again, these guys were playing for the Borscht Belt. They were all of a type. They were playing for their brethren. The jokes, every joke was an in-joke because they were talking about their mothers, sisters, brothers, husbands, and wives. And then they had common enemies like the Nazis. And it might be easier in a way. But that's an interesting point, because Danny Thomas was, he was another kind of genius comic, and he was.
Right.
And you can watch him in some weird stuff like the Hans Christian Andersen stuff that he did. Not my favorite, but I like him in The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
I didn't see that.
He was in it with I think Virginia Mayo, who was his wife, who was just deadly attractive, really, really luscious, and you can't believe. And she's funny. She's a good funny actress. And you watch, and then you realize that he's married to her, and you think, you lucky bastard. But Secret Life of Walter Mitty is based probably on a novel. I want to say about a guy who's a nobody. He's a nobody in America that's coming up in the conveyor belt generation, rapid fire production, and people getting company watches and all this kind of stuff, and he's just not going anywhere. So his whole life is on the inside of his head, and he imagines all these great things happening to him. Well, of course, as the movie transpires, he ends up having all these terrible things happen to him, and he's involved in some sort of great plot. A little like North by Northwest.
Okay.
Do you ever see that? The Hitchcock
Okay,
movie with Cary Grant?
Hitchcock.
Well,
yes.
We had a little hiccup there. What were we talking about? We had a little technical. Nobody heard it, but we were off.
Right. We were off. We were talking about The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. You were talking about Danny Thomas, and we were talking about old comics, and then we got onto Danny Thomas, who did a film called The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, and he had a secret life, and
he was a Boer. He was a Boer and a loser and all this stuff. And in the movie he's in love with this gorgeous blonde. Did I say this? Called Virginia Mayo. Oh, well, that's her real name, actress. or God knows, they used to change actors' names all the time. Not so much anymore. So that it was a little like North by Northwest in the sense that Cary Grant, this was a trope or like an ongoing theme in a lot of these movies, mistaken identity, right?
Yeah.
Or that his daydream actually impeded or intruded, I should say, on his real life, and then he has to become the guy in real life that he is in his daydream. But movies at that time were about human misunderstanding very often, and the worst thing you had to deal with are like some gangsters. Now you have 3-story robots from outer space that, for some reason, even though they're from way outer space, they look like trucks.
Right. Right. Autobots and Decepticons.
Oh,
is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I'm a fan of older movies. I think there are great movies that are still made. I don't think art is dead. I just think that it's diminished in the public mind. And I'll tell you, to get political, I think it's diminished because we were lied to about so many things.
Yeah.
We used to make fun of, the 60s generation made fun of the power elite, and they made some funny movies. They made some crappy movies too, but even the subtle jokes in a movie like A Hard Day's Night are essentially a friendly sort of anti-authoritarian jab in the ribs. There's a scene.
Yeah.
And they're seeing the Beatles. I mean, these are supposed to be musicians, and they are. They happen to be great comics. You don't really get that anymore. And don't throw Justin Timberlake at me because he's not a great musician, and he's pretty funny. But that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You had what's his name? Donald O'Connor. Donald O'Connor, really funny, could dance his ass off.
Yeah. No, it's true. These guys had to do everything back then. I mean, they had to sing all the MGM. If you're talking about Donald O'Connor and the MGM musicals, everybody in those was all three. I mean, like now they call that the triple threat, like Beyonce or these people who have a musical career and then they do film, but they're kind of just mediocre at both. And then you had somebody like Donald O'Connor who's just amazing at all of them because he could sing, he could dance, and he was hilariously funny. But they all had to be like that back then. I mean, those, they all had to, even Rita Hayworth, who wasn't really much of a dancer, but then they still had her in films dancing, and you had to do it. It was part of the job description. There was no
right, and it made actors just a little more enjoyable. I think I never saw Cary Grant dance. Maybe he was just at the end, middle end of that studio bit. But he did his share of studio tripe. He was in Gunga Din.
I don't know that film. Gunga Din.
By the by the living God that made, though I beat you and I flayed you, by the living God that made you, you're a better man than I am, Gunga Din. It's a racist Rudyard Kipling thing,
Oh.
So he was like the young sort of movie star, like up and coming movie star, and then they finally figured out who he was, or maybe he figured out who he was. He was Archibald Leach. Leach,
yeah.
That's his name. He was like from a,
I know.
Yeah, he was a vaudevillian from like Liverpool, someplace like that, just from some salty British port. He came over and decided to talk like this,
Yeah, no, in the His Girl Friday, I like that. There's that scene where he comes out and he's introducing himself to Rosalind Russell's wife, or her fiance, because she's his ex-wife, and she's remarried and he's still in love with her.
No, by the way, he won't sign the divorce papers,
Right, yeah. He won't sign the divorce papers because he still wants her, and he comes out and he introduces himself, but it's obviously a joke because the man's like 90 years old, and he knows that that's not who she's marrying, but he introduces himself as Archibald Leach.
Right.
I don't know if you remember that scene.
Oh, of
It
course.
was great. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Hello, so the wife is remarrying a guy, and he's another well-known actor, and I think it's Ralph Bellamy. Yeah, it's Ralph Bellamy, who had a million-year career in Hollywood, playing sort of the nice guy, sometimes a villain.
Right.
And if you look him up, you'll recognize him. But anyway, he plays Ralph Bellamy. Ralph Bellamy's playing the new husband, and Cary Grant says, "Oh, that fellow reminds me of Ralph Bellamy."
Yeah. Yeah, he was great like that. They used to, I don't know how much they used to improvise back then, because, everything was on real film, and it wasn't as easy to cut, and it was very expensive.
No, very few
He
cuts.
used to do it. Yeah, so he used to do it. So anyway.
Look up the YouTube thing for Make 'Em Laugh with Donald O'Connor and Gene Kelly and Carrie Fisher's mom. What was her name?
Debbie Reynolds. Debbie Reynolds.
Right.
Yeah.
So you watch this bit, and there's a young actor today who actually did the whole Make 'Em Laugh bit for the Saturday Night Live audience. I think it was just too good for them. And he was a young actor, but he's done a lot of theater, and he's very talented. His name is he was on Third Rock from the Sun. He was one of the kids, and then he was in this movie, this terrible Christopher Nolan movie. It's the one about the shifting angles and the going back in time.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Virstyne loves that guy. I can't remember. His name is escaping me.
Gordon Levitt.
Yes, she loves
something.
him. Yeah.
He's a very talented dude.
Yeah.
And he did the whole Make 'Em Laugh bit live. And he ran up the wall the way Donald O'Connor, and he landed on his feet 3 times. He never fell. And he was wildly out of breath. And I was like, wow, this kid's serious. He's really doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Saturday Night Live, I don't really watch it anymore. I mean, that's another show that has been on a really long time. But it's one of those, I don't think it's ever going to, you think they're ever going to end it?
No, it has no reason to end. It's just tried. Yeah. Every once in a while they hit a funny jag, but as long as there are politicians lying to people, there will be a Saturday Night Live. Right, and not that there's anything sinful about it. It's just not very honest. Like, if they took on 9/11, I'd be like, all right, I'm going to watch this show.
Well, they had this one bit, and it was right after Osama bin Laden died. Did you see this? And I think Tina Fey was the host, because this is after she left. This was more recent. And she was hosting, and she was playing the Little Mermaid. They were all like all these sea creatures underneath the water. Right. And she was a Little Mermaid, and then, so they had like the crab. I think it was was it the lobster or the crab?
The Caribbean
played
crab.
by Fred and he was played by Fred Armisen, and he was sort of the 9/11 was an inside job guy.
Oh.
Because so they talked about but everybody shunned him. Everybody said, "Oh, stop that nonsense," whatever. But they were all talking about the death of Osama bin Laden, and then he said, "Oh, well, is he dead?" And they said, "Oh, stop with that. Oh, stop, knock it off." And then I think that Osama comes down, and he's just in the sea with them, because of course that's what they did, right? They sent him off to sea.
They sent somebody off to sea.
Right, they sent somebody
under the sea.
Right, exactly. So that was the bit. So
that's as close as they get, I guess.
Yeah, that's how far they went with that. It was pretty cute. It was funny, and I did like they did the Gardasil thing. They did did you see that?
That was good. They did a Gardasil.
That was good.
Yeah.
The doll that just automatically inoculated you.
Right.
Little girls would buy them, and then they.
Yeah, it's never been the most politically gutsy show. It's just been an outrageous show. I mean, right. I guess Phil Hartman's Reagan was pretty Machiavellian. He in his early time there, he did a Reagan, and they'd have a little girl come in and, "Oh, well, that's nice, Sally. Oh, okay." And then as soon as the little girl went, he'd clap his hands together. "All right, let's get serious," and he was faking. He was clearly faking his cuteness and his senility and all that stuff.
Right.
But I mean, I want comedy to come. I don't know if it's ever really been in this country except on the outskirts, but British comedy was always pretty vicious, and their parliamentary system allows that. I know there have been. Most of our comedy is now it's sort of Oscar Wilde. It's comedy of without the sophistication. It's comedy of manners. In The Office, it's comedy of manners. I don't like it, but I know some people do. It's like, how stupid are we at work? What are the little social customs and mores that we go through in these meaningless jobs? But what about real comedy about the giant lies that we're told? What about the 9/11 stuff, when you take it apart, some of it, like the Dick Cheney refusing to testify under oath, you could do so much with, wait a second, why is this Saudi guy sitting in the basement of the FAA copying our data? You could do things with it, but they don't.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to do that. I'm going to be starting a show soon.
I know, you told me. So this is going to be an online show, video.
First year is going to be online video, and then we're really going to look to market it and get it on cable or something. But the first year, I'm going to take it. Look, it's in pre-production. It's in discussion.
Right.
But I'm going to do it.
Who are you going to do it with?
Usually myself. That's who's around. Oh, the show. I'm going to. We're gonna work out some stuff. Hey, you'll be the West Coast correspondent, whatever.
Right. Sounds good.
It's going to be just a normal crass talk show. I'm going to be doing a normal crass talk show that happens to talk about 9/11 and vaccines and fake HIV tests and New World Order crap. I want a place for artists and music. I think your show is going to be like that too. I want a place. I mean, what's the point of being serious and talking about activism all the time?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
It just ends up hurting.
Right.
It's exhausting.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, you have to have a sense of humor about it. I hope that I mean, like, I think what Marla Thomas was talking about, just getting back to that I see that a lot today, that I'll joke about these kinds of things, and sometimes people don't get them or they don't think it's funny because they're not, I'm sort of trained to not make fun of things anymore. It's like everybody's so sensitive about it. Or, you know, there's so many rules as to what is supposed to be made fun of. I agree. Let's make fun of it. Let's make fun of 9/11. Let's make fun. I mean, not obviously that so many people were killed, but
stupid people. Not that.
Right, of course not.
You should have been like the Israelis and not gone to work that day. Dope.
Yeah.
You know, comedy is funny sometimes, and you have to bend the rules sometimes. There's an old rule. It's funny if it bends and not if it breaks, and it's generally true. But sometimes you got to bend pretty hard. You know, these cultural rules that we live with, we really need an intellectual revolution to free ourselves to talk about these things that we're lied to about. Just because we're lied to about it doesn't mean that it's actually sacred or sacrosanct. It's just a lie. And the way 9/11 happened is a giant fib. I mean, the way that we're told AIDS works is a giant fib. It's not like gay men and Africans have an STD that kills them after 20 years. We just target them for these crap tests and we give them bad drugs. It's the old eugenics thing. There's so much of that can slip into awareness and not kill. Honestly, it sounds trite. Not kill a variety show. There's so many artists. There's so many actors, filmmakers, musicians. I mean, I bet 90% of working musicians don't have any faith in the powers that be, and they'd love to talk about it. But like the Chixie girls, you know,
they say one thing, and then it's just, and that wasn't even that bad. She just said, "Oh, I'm ashamed to be a Texan" or something, and then they got just sort of blackballed for 2 years, and they couldn't play their stuff on the air. It's like, I don't understand that. I don't understand that criticizing your president somehow makes you a bad American, makes you an anti-patriot. What? That's not really what it's supposed to be, but you know, that does happen, and that's why people see those girls, and they go, "I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to stay quiet."
Yeah, well, that time is over. I think we can do comedy with reality again.
Yeah. Well, we are out of time. I love talking to you, Liam, and I'm glad you came on today while Virstyne was out, so I appreciate you doing that. And we have Liam's book on our website at shop.truthertease.com. That's shop.truthertease.com. I'm not going to spell it out. I'm just going to sound it out. Anyway, so thanks again.
Yeah, oh, me? Yeah.
Yes, you.
I thought you were talking to Morgan Freeman.
Oh, Morgan's back. Morgasm.
That's Morgan Freeman to you, or the Morgan Freeman imitation. Because if you ain't busy talking, you're busy dying.
That's right.
Some people don't